Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
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 Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
All right.
Hello.
We still have a couple of people joining us this morning, but I'll get started in a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to get started and
Can we spotlight the interpreter, please?
yes. Robert, could you do that?
Yes, I'm gonna do that right now. I thought I did, but
Okay. Let me know if you are able to see the interpreter.
yeah. See, on my he shows us he's on the spotlight.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm going to get started. My name is Sue Yang, and I'm will be your presenter for today. In the room with me is Dr. Jody Steele, the Director of Distance Education and Instructional Technology, and faculty Carolyn Deanda from Visual Media Technology, who's going to be assisting me and monitoring the chat. So feel free to type any of your questions in there, and she'll try her best to answer. And then also I'll answer your questions at the end of the presentation as well too then. Okay. But first, I just wanted to see and get a feel of, you know, where everyone is at and what it is that you are looking forward to most about this semester. So I've never done this before with this many people in Zoom, but I think we can do it. So if you'd like to share, you know, you can raise your hand and I'll ask you to unmute yourself. I know we won't be able to get to everyone, and so, you know, feel free to type your responses in the chat as well. But what we're planning to do after the session, because these sessions are being recorded, and so what we're planning to do is to collect all of your comments and ideas and make them available for others to view as well. And most likely that will all be placed in the Faculty Support Hub in Canvas. So if anybody would like to share, you can use your reactions to raise your hand, and I'll ask you to unmute yourself.
Sue, if
Yes.
I may, you got some people asking in the chat. They can't see you. If you change your gallery view, I think somebody suggested it. You can see everyone and we have the interpreters spotlighted because the session is being recorded. So that's why if some of you can only see the interpreter, but if you switch your view, you should be able to see Sue as well.
Oh. Okay. Is it because I'm sharing my screen or?
I think so. I think it's because your screen's being shared, and so when their view shows of people on Zoom, oh, there it is.
Okay. Perfect. All right, now I can see everyone. My share screen is.
Is that better?
Yeah, I'm like, I only see Robert and Carolyn on the side. All right. Okay, so did anyone want to share what they're most looking forward to this semester? Let me see.
Okay, I'll unmute since nobody wants to say anything. I'll be the first one. This semester, I'm looking forward to exciting students. I'm looking forward to students who are willing to learn. I'm looking forward to students that I can motivate and help with a positive outlook, because we have so many things going on today that I think that we're all going to have to put on our happy faces and gear up and try to boost these students up. We have first-time students who've never done this before, don't want to be there, and we have to find ways to reach them. So I'm just looking forward to the challenge. Anyone else?
Thank you so much, Marvita.
You're
So
welcome.
glad to see you too.
Good to see you. She gave me my first start at Fresno State years ago. She trained me.
I am looking forward to continuing to work with instructors and help them, to have the best distance education experience for themselves and for the students as possible. And hope to see some of you in, further workshops that we have on different topics.
Thank you, Tammy. Mark, you have your hand raised. Did you want to unmute yourself?
Sure. I'm looking forward to having class. Yes, I'm going to record it, but I'm going to have class like I regularly have class. And those who can make it, look forward to that.
Hi guys, my name is Margie and I teach Photo 5, and I'm looking forward to find new ways to put a lecture in a way it's more entertaining or different than what I would normally do, because it's easier for the student when they're entertained watching either my videos or things that I could see that maybe put more interaction. Mine is full online classes, so having that entertaining factor, like they're just watching YouTube, is something good, and at the same time having the balance of me being available to them because they don't see me on a regular basis, and it's only through my module. So having that balance, I'm looking forward to find new ways to teach.
Marjorie, you know what I find that works? Every week I do like a welcome to that week, like welcome to week 1, and then I preview everything that's due, so that I go through the whole whatever I have on my schedule, and I explain things that I need for them to know. And then after that, I start going over concerns that I have with some of the work that I have been receiving. So I do that once a week, and I check in with them on like halfway during the week, like Wednesday, through discussions to see how they're doing. And I give them the video, the Zoom video. That way they feel connected. They know that there is a person there that they can really reach out to. And it seems to work a little better than just communicating through the email and what have you. So That's what I've been doing, and it kind of gives it that special element.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna try to implement that beginning video. Thank you.
Thank you. And Bridget, you have your hand raised. Did you want to unmute yourself?
I think I wasn't able to hear you clearly, but I think you called my name. So if I'm not the one you called, just let me know and I'll mute myself again.
Yes, you're the one.
Okay. I believe that doing or recording a weekly video for the students really does help, because if you have that video, you're able to provide what the expectations are and sometimes even take them through Canvas so that they can clearly see what you have created for that week for the course. That really seems to help the students. What am I looking forward to? Well, I have been in contact with some of our the faculty in my department, and we have been arranging our courses and putting them in place. I have a lot of new ideas based on my experience from the spring semester of some of the things that really did not work and some of the things that worked better. So in making the adjustments to adapt to a new semester, I am hoping that I have a little bit more tools in my toolbox and therefore can have a more successful, less stressful experience for the students. So the idea is always for us to stay student focused and to ensure as much as possible student success. That is our main goal. We are here to teach. So that's what I'm excited about. Then I'll learn, oh, wow, I thought that would work. Whoops, did not work. And so that, as I said, will expand and improve my teaching. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing, everyone. I know you all have other great ideas, but feel free to, write them in the chat. And again, we'll collect them and put them all together to share with everybody then. Okay. Okay, so I hope that at the end of this session, you'll be able to take away at least one, if not more, things that can help you make the start of the semester a success. And so today I'm going to be covering three main areas, three main topics. The first is communicating with your students. And then I'll give you some ideas on how to connect with your students. And then lastly, some course design tips that will help support your students from the beginning of the semester and throughout the semester then. Okay. So especially during this time, and we heard it yesterday and this morning as well, but communication is so important with your students right now. As we are all excited and anxious and worried, about the start of the semester, our students are feeling the same way as well. And so it's important to keep students informed about any changes that you may have in your schedule, any new assignments, course expectations, and other information, and just giving students detailed information regarding any ongoing changes, or specific information regarding your class, so that helps ease their anxiety, this semester. Okay, so So just an overview of synchronous and asynchronous learning. Synchronous in either learning format, you provide the course materials so that students are able to access them, whether they have due dates or specific time frames. And most of us will have students access those materials through Canvas. Now, synchronous learning is when you have set aside a specific date and time that everyone is going to meet online. And so maybe you're creating a Zoom session, to meet during your teaching hours, and you want students to be online with you at the same time. That's synchronous learning. Now, asynchronous learning is when you have the course materials available for students. Could we mute everybody? Thank you. And then what is asynchronous learning? So students access the course on their own schedule. Maybe you have it open for a week and students have certain tasks and assignments that they need to complete then. And so that would be asynchronous learning. Okay, so prior to the start of the semester, you want to reach out and communicate with your students. One suggestion is...
Sue, the interpreter froze. Can we troubleshoot that before we continue?
Got it.
Thank you.
I can continue, so that way you don't have to pause. So you can continue. I can continue.
Okay, could we pin her as the spotlight video?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't catch who said it. Who was that?
That's me here, Luz.
Did you get that, Robert?
Yes, sorry, she is good now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so prior to the start of the semester, you want to reach out and communicate with your students. You can write them a welcome letter or announcement, just introducing who you are, the course you will be teaching. Are there any required materials or any information that you want them to know about ahead of time before the first class meeting? You can also create an FAQ area in your course or a student lounge area where students can ask questions, not only at the beginning of the semester, but throughout the semester as well. And in Canvas, you can build this area either using like a discussion board or creating a page with those FAQs then. And this could also be included in your welcome letter that you send out to your students. Now, as mentioned yesterday at the convocation, there is the Student Online Readiness Workshop and Passport to Canvas that you can have students complete as well prior to the first day. Now, in the Student Online Readiness Workshop, students will receive different strategies to help them become a successful online student. And in Passport to Canvas, that provides students with an overview of the different tools within Canvas that an instructor may use. And then so students are enrolled in both courses and they'll see them on their dashboard when they log into Canvas. And upon completion of all the modules, they'll also receive badges then as well. Okay, so on the first day of the semester, you want to provide an introduction of the course. You also want to make sure that students understand your expectations as well as their responsibilities. Especially important are communication guidelines. So you want to set your expectations as to how often your students should, receive a response from you or a message from you. What is your main medium that you will be using? Will you be using announcements? Will you be sending messages through the inbox or, through your Fresno City email? As well as, how quickly you're going to reply to messages that are sent to you. So just making sure that these, expectations and guidelines are set, on the first day then. Okay, so how can we continue to communicate with students throughout the semester? And I heard this a few weeks back in a webinar about rewording office hours maybe to student hours. Because office hours can be a little intimidating and students don't typically, when we were on campus, typically students wouldn't come to our office hours. And so maybe renaming it to student hours and asking students to, especially when we're remote learning, asking students to attend at least just one. And it could be, 10, 15, 20 minutes or so, but using this time to get to know each student individual. We no longer have the luxury of being, face-to-face with our students and being able to, speak with them after class or before class or anything. And so this still helps to build that, communication and connection with our students. In addition, using announcements to keep students on track with upcoming due dates and deadlines. Are there any students that have not been participating that may not have logged in? You may want to nudge them and just let them know. Or maybe you want to provide, some positive words to students throughout the semester as they've shown growth in their learning. Additionally, check-ins are also a good practice to kind of get a feel of where students are at then. Are there any areas that are confusing to students? Was there a specific assignment that a lot of students were struggling with? You can do a quick poll if you're doing a synchronous Zoom session, or just, raise your hand if this was confusing, or even a short 2 to 3 question survey at the end of a module, or, maybe after 3 weeks or 4 weeks, just to get feedback from students. And then, based on their responses, you are able to adjust on your end to make sure that students are understanding and staying on track. Okay. All right, so another question I want to pose to you is, for you to share what other communication strategies you have used in your classroom. I'm gonna stop share here quick, but again, if you'd like to share, just raise your hand and I'll ask you to unmute yourself. But I won't be able to get to everyone, so feel free to, again, to just type your responses in the chat. Go ahead, Larry.
I have what I used as a blog during the first week. I teach a very technical software course called SolidWorks is the software. And so what I do is I let them download the software so they have it at their house, and I give them an assignment, very simple, before they've even looked at the course. And I ask them the first thing I ask them to do is to give me their thoughts on, I'm not grading them on completing the assignment, I'm grading on their responses. So I ask them to complete it and create a discussion about how it went, whether they could not get started, or if they finished it, how they did it. And then I ask, and there's two parts to it. The second part is I ask them to respond to somebody else's blog. And so I give them actually 2% extra credit to the end of the class to do that. And so then I get both responses, and it's 5 points each. And so if they get 10 points out of it, they get a 2% kicker at the end. And so that keeps them right off the bat. They're trying to actually look at it. And also they end up helping each other. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing, Larry. Alicia, did you have your hand raised as well? Go ahead and unmute yourself. Good morning.
Yes, everyone. I've found that the application that's embedded within Canvas called Flipgrid is really great for interaction between students and also with communication from me to the students. It's a video interactive application. So rather than typing response in a discussion, they can use this application much like Snapchat. The time limit, I think, for a video is, it ranges from 30 seconds to actually 2 minutes. But the students respond to each other's responses, and I grade them on their interactivity, and it's really wonderful to use in both my music classes and also my general education classes. So I found that to be something that they actually enjoy.
That's great. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. All right, we'll take one more. Is there anybody else that would like to share with the group? Okay, go ahead, Tammy.
A great way to communicate is to use the message system through your grades on a specific assignment. If you go to the 3 dots, you can get message students who and send kudos to people who have done really well, or something like, I see you forgot to submit the assignment. I take late work, so let me know if you need help, for students who didn't submit it. It's a really quick and effective way to continue communicating with students throughout the semester.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, for sharing that, especially when it's already a feature that's within Canvas that we use. And if you use the gradebook in Canvas, that's an easy way to kind of filter, you know, which students may need additional help, or which ones have submitted the you know, assignment and you know, don't have to worry about it anymore. So thank you so much for sharing, Tammy. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and share my PowerPoint here. Continue to add any of your ideas or suggestions in the chat. And again, we'll collect all of those after. Okay. Not sure why I went back to the. Okay, so connecting with students then. I think this is important, especially during this period of remote, you know, teaching and learning. A couple things that we can do prior to the start of semester to connect with our students. One thing is to just review your roster and see who is in your course. Also, just be mindful of student pronouns or preferred names that they have listed. You know, you yourself can also let your students know how you would like them to address you then, whether it's, you know, in synchronous sessions or in email communication, just so that everyone's, you know, being respectful of their preferences then. Now, Name Coach is also available in Canvas, and it's a tool that allows your students to record the correct pronunciation of their names. And then you, as the instructor, you can go in and listen to the recordings just to be sure that you are pronouncing the students' names correctly as well too. So again, this is something that's available in Canvas, and you'll see it when you go into your courses, and students can just go in there and record the pronunciation of their name. In addition, you can also complete your profile on Canvas. So, in your account area, that's where you can edit your profile. You can add an image, maybe include a brief bio, put in your office hours, or if you have a Zoom link or any, other websites, your department website, or any other information that you would like your students to know, and you can also click and view on your student's profile if they've updated it with any, information that they've liked to share. So this is another way to just connect and get to know your students then. So on the first day of the semester, you want to get to know your students' learning environment. How are they connecting to Canvas or Zoom? I mean, are they using their phone? Do they have a laptop? Are they using a shared computer with their siblings? Do they have access to a webcam or a headset? Do they have a quiet space to study? This kind of gives you an idea of where your students are at, and just being mindful of any of the requirements that you have set for your course then. Also on the first day, plan a mini icebreaker activity so that you can get to know your students and they can get to know each other. Just something fun that kind of eases that anxiety of the first day of class then. And it also helps to build those relationships among the students and as well as with you, the instructor. You could create a short interest survey that you give to your students. So, this could be, again, maybe just a mini assignment that's in Canvas, or maybe, in an email or poll or something, where you ask them, maybe what are they most excited about, in taking your course, or what do they hope to learn? What do they like to do for fun? Do they have any pets or children, or any favorite places that they miss visiting? Just to get to know your students just beyond academics then. Okay, so now throughout the semester, you really just want to be present in your courses. Students want to know that there is a real person on the other end, and not just some files that are uploaded into a Canvas course. Provide encouragement and positive feedback along the way. If you recognize and compliment student on any growth and learning that they've done throughout the semester. I think at this point, any positive feedback that we give to our students will greatly help them to be more motivated and engaged in their learning. And just be human. Dr. Goldsmith yesterday had mentioned, being flexible. These are scary and uncertain times, and we may not always know what someone is going through, but just having conversations with our students and letting them know, of what student services are available to them online, or any local community services that are available, just being there to support each other. And then lastly, letting students be creative and bring their own learning experiences and voices into an assignment. So, instead of giving the students a specific topic for an assignment, maybe let them choose from different options. Or instead of having students, show their learning through, just one specific medium, give them options to, to be creative. So using, text or images or videos.
Is it okay if we switch interpreters now?
Yes, go ahead.
Who's, are you taking over? Okay, got it.
Okay.
Okay, Sue, we're good.
All right. Thank you. All right. So my next question that I want to pose to you is, what are some ways that you have created, a safe and inclusive environment in your classroom? And I'm going to stop sharing and ask again, if you have a comment or would like to speak, just raise your hand and I'll ask you to unmute yourself then. Again, I won't be able to get to everyone, so feel free to use the chat again as well.
Can you hear me okay? I'm in my
Yes.
car.
Yes, Sophia, go ahead.
One of the things that, I'm also a high school teacher, and so we have this big component about social and emotional wellness. And so I think it's really good to, especially at the beginning, is to really have some activities that promote self-care. And build a community and really just say, hey, what's going on with with you guys this week, and how is it going, how are you feeling, and it's having that safe place, and we can just incorporate all kinds of things that relaxes them, maybe whether it's music or a segment from of a movie or a meme or something that kind of gets that breaks the ice. But I think if you do that on a regular basis, that really helps make people feel comfortable. And it's nice that the topic's about them and not what we always want to talk about. And so I think that's really helpful.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing, Sophia. Go ahead, Tammy.
In the breakout room earlier, I suggested that people have the students introduce their children. They're very worried about their children interrupting your class if it's, synchronized. And by having them introduce their children, it kind of lets them know that it's not such an issue, that will be flexible. And it also gets those children to kind of get the excitement out of the way, because they've been on the camera and now it's done and over with.
Definitely. Thank you so much for sharing.
Sue, I put a document in the chat. It's just a survey questions, just suggestions to send out to students.
Oh, great. Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that resource, Marvita.
Yeah, I make it an extra credit. It lets you get to know their environment a little better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's great. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll take one last person. Anybody want to share? Okay. It's still early in the morning. That's okay. All right. Again, feel free to use the chat. Jody and Carolyn and John is also in there. I saw John. in the chat, and so they'll be able to answer any of your questions in there as well. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my slides. All right. So we talked about communicating, setting those guidelines, communicating with our students prior to, the first day of class, as well as throughout the semester. And then also how to connect with our students. Again, prior to the semester, on the first day of the semester, as well as throughout the semester. Now, just as important, I think, is course design, and so that your students are not lost or clicking in multiple areas to find what it is that is needed. And so you want to think about how you are structuring and organizing your course content in a way that makes sense and is easy to follow. Because the last thing you want is for a student to get lost in your course and, download multiple files that are not the correct one. And so just be mindful of that and organize your content for the students. So prior to the start of the semester, you can copy from a previous semester. So if you're teaching the same course you taught maybe last spring or last fall, you can copy from that semester into your new course shell and then just make edits and modifications here and there. Or you can build brand new. Start fresh and build your course out in your new course shell then. You can also use direct share. So maybe you don't want to copy your entire course and maybe there's only a couple items that you want copied from your previous course. And so Canvas does have a direct share feature that allows you to just copy from one course to another. And then just be mindful of the course materials you are using as well. Think about what kind of materials do you have? Do you have all PowerPoint files only, or do you include video? Are there images? Do you use the textbook, or do you have any additional online resources? Just being able to provide a variety of learning materials for your students then. And then also you may want to record a course introduction video, like a course navigation video that goes over how you've designed your course. When students first log into your course, where should students start? Where will they find your contact information? Or where will they find, the course files or assignments or the course materials? And so you can just do a short 1 to 2 minute video that kind of goes over, the setup of your course so that students, understand and know where to go then. All right, so as an instructor, you can also verify any external links that you have throughout your course, just to make sure that there are no broken links then, especially if you copy from one semester to another. Sometimes websites, they change their links, just like Canvas did yesterday. And then so now those links that you've embedded onto your assignments or into your pages, they are broken now. And so you can use this, the course link validator, to search through your course content, and then it displays for you any invalid or unresponsive, external web links in both your published and unpublished content. And so it'll tell you directly where, on what item the link is found, and then specifically what link is not working anymore. And then so you can always use that at the beginning of the semester to make sure that all of your links are working correctly in your course. I had previously mentioned this earlier too, but you know, when you're organizing your content, you know, just make sure to organize it in a logical manner. And you can use modules in Canvas to organize your content. And how you organize it, you know, is going to depend on how you teach. And so do you teach by week, or maybe you teach by units or chapters? You know, use whatever organizational structure works best for your course then. You know, with modules, just keep in mind that you're basically creating a linear flow of what you would like students to do. And so that's an easy way to organize all of the content in a module then for students. Another good practice is, you know, when students reach the end of a module, let them know somehow. So creating an end of the module page, or maybe a summary of what was learned within that module, will let them know that they have completed all the requirements, all the learning activities, reading assignments, homework assignments, and that they can move on to the next module, or wait until the next module is ready to be open. Okay, so depending on how you are structuring your course, you may want to set up a practice run with your students. So if you plan to use Zoom, you know, you may want to do at least one practice run just to make sure that your students know how to connect, know how to access the link, you know, how to set up their audio and video. You know, if you plan to use assignments in Canvas, you know, make sure you have them submit at least you know, a practice assignment or a low stakes assignment, so that they become familiar with the process and your expectations. I know earlier a couple of you had mentioned different tools that may be integrated in Canvas or may not be. And so if you're planning to use those tools throughout the semester, at least set up one practice run just so that students know what it is that is required of them. And you know, once they do it once or twice, then they'll be set for the rest of the semester. And provide examples where you can. So whether it's for a project or a paper, maybe you're using discussions in Canvas, try to provide you know, whether it's a past example or your own example that meets your expectations of what you're looking for. That way, you know, as students are completing the assignment or starting the assignment, they're able to view the examples and understand exactly what it is that you are looking for as well. Okay. So Canvas shows a set of default links on your course navigation menu. Now, some of these links we can't be renamed, but if there are any that you are not using for your course, it's a good practice to hide them from your students. Next to the links, you know, when you log into Canvas and into your courses, you'll see the visibility icon, which is kind of like the eye symbol with the slash through it. Now, some of these links are either hidden from student view already or currently have no content in them, which is why it has that icon. And so if you're not using any particular link on that course menu, you can you know, always go into your settings and then into the navigation tab and just, you know, disable the links that you don't want students to access or be able to see. Now, also in that settings and navigation area, that's where you can reorder how you want those links to appear. And so if you want your syllabus first, or maybe it's announcements first and then modules, and whatever else, you can reorder it in this area, and then just make sure you click save at the bottom, and then it'll automatically adjust in your course then. So the grade posting policy determines grade visibility for students. So by default, Canvas uses an automatic course posting policy, which means that all of the assignment grades are visible to students as soon as they are entered into the grade book. So if you select the manual course posting policy, all the assignment grades will remain hidden from the student view by default until you post the grades for each of the assignments. So it's good practice to set this at the start of the semester, because if you decide later on, okay, I want these grades hidden from students, it's a bit more complicated and will not work exactly as you'd like. And so, just make sure to set this prior to or either at the start of the semester then. Okay. You can also view a course the same way that your students view your course by going through the student view. And so when you click on this, Canvas creates a test student account, which allows you to post and reply to discussion, submit assignments, view content in your course, just like how your students would see it. Now, when you do click on the student view, you will know you're in student view because there's going to be like a kind of a purplish frame that's around your Canvas course. And so you'll know that you're in student view. So at the bottom of that frame is a button where it says to return to the course as the instructor view. And so you can click on that to leave student view and be able to go back and make edits and changes to your course then. And so that's something that, I use often just to see how it is, from a student's perspective, because as I'm building out a course, it may look good to me and, things may be published and visible to me, but when I go into student view, I realize, oh, I didn't publish that module. So those items within that module are not visible to students. And so it's just a quick check just to make sure that I have everything set before I let the students know then. Okay. Publish your course. So you must publish your course before students can access it or any of the content in there. Students, they won't be able to see any unpublished courses. And so if they're registered in your course and they log into Canvas and on their dashboard, they don't see your course card, you may receive emails, well, okay, I'm registered for your class, but I don't see it. It may be because your course is not published yet. So, if you're ready to publish your course, go ahead. But if you're still working on it, when you are ready, you just want to make sure that your course is published. Not only that, but you also want to make sure that your modules are published. So as you're building out your course, for maybe the first couple weeks or something, if you want the students to be able to see the first module, just make sure that, that module is published, and any items within that module that you want students to see is published as well then. Okay. Now, if you want to remove any of the course cards from your dashboard, you can always go to all courses and customize the course list manually by selecting your favorite courses to display. Just make sure to click on the star, so that's how you know that that course has been favorited, and then it'll appear on your dashboard. Now on the dashboard itself, you can, click and drag and drop the cards to reorder them. So maybe you want to put, the same sections of one course at the top, and then, put, your additional courses below that. So you can reorder by just simply dragging and dropping. Now, some courses include an image for the course behind a color. And so by default, course cards with an image have this color overlay on top of it. And so to remove the color overlay from all of your course cards, there's going to be 3 dots, which give you options to deselect the color overlay. So then that way you're able to see all of the images that you've uploaded for your courses then. Okay, so throughout the semester, if you use discussions, you want to make sure to monitor the students' posts and, respond accordingly. If there's any upcoming projects or major assignments, post an announcement as a reminder for the students. If you are setting date and time restrictions on modules, assignments, or pages, just to make sure to check that all of these are correct so that they become available when, when necessary for the students then. As you close out a module or a chapter or unit, you may want to summarize what was covered and what the learning outcomes were and what students should have gained from that module. And then also, as you go through the semester, make notes of what activities or assignments went well, what did students really like, and then also like what areas can be improved. What areas were confusing to students, whether it's course design or whether it was a learning activity or an assignment. Just make note of this so that you can make those changes for the next semester then. Okay. So I'm going to stop my share, but I wanted to ask and open it up to you and ask, what are some of your course design tips that you've used that, students have found very helpful? And then again, I'll ask you to just raise your hand, and I'll ask you to unmute yourself, and we'll take some.
Hi guys, I don't know if you can hear me. One of the things that really work for me, well, I'm a photo, my subjects are photos. So if you are maybe in art or something in that nature, writing, something artsy class that you're teaching, my extra credit is a photo assignment, and it's 10 points each, and it's 100 points altogether. So but it's a no judgment photo assignment, which means everybody can participate. As long as you participate, you get 10 points. It's because we want to make sure people that's not good with it and people that's good with it, we're able to mingle together in that discussion and say, hey, I really like, and I am very detailed on like, okay, this is no judgment photo assignment, help each other out. Usually, and it's very easy. Like one of the example I did is, and it's very consistent. So one photo assignment is hand. So everybody is taking picture of a hand. And then the next one is the next photo assignment will be paperweight. So everybody will be taking pictures of a paperweight. So everybody has one assignment. So when everybody see each other's conceptualize that subject in a term, it makes them, oh wow, I never see it that way. So maybe if you have a writing class, write something about a banana or write something about an apple, or things in that nature that will cultivate a very healthy but not grade focus extra credit. It did work. Everybody loved that extra credit from the beginning. I started that thing. So hopefully you guys like that.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I think that's great because it provides different perspectives, on the same topic, and we all see things differently, and it's interesting to see, each other's perspectives and appreciate where others are seeing things as well. Thank you so much for sharing.
It's time to change interpreters, switch interpreters.
Sure, yes, go ahead.
Okay, Luz, you're spotlighted.
Thank you. Okay, Tina, go ahead. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Some of the students, they say using the video recordings of, I like to use the Elmo for writing, and I was having a problem of showing this to students, like I was doing our math, and I would use the video camera with the little whiteboard, but that really wasn't doing well for me or them. I received an iPad Pro, and I learned how to use the PDF load up into Apple, and I also got a little iPad pen, and they have a video recording, and I could talk through the math problems and use it as a video, and I uploaded that into Google Drive, and then posted the link into, had them do a math quiz. And at the end of the quiz, there's an explanation in writing, but I also posted a video link so they could hear me go through the process of figuring out the problem. So I got feedback from students, they like that. So I'm really happy I found that, but I really miss my Elmo.
Well, I'm
Anyway.
so glad.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just so glad that you were willing to find an alternative way to still be able to reach your students and be able to support them in their learning. It may not be the way you were used to doing it, but it still works, and students still find it helpful. So yes, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bruce, did you have something to say?
Yes, this is just a question that I faced this summer teaching online for the first time. I did have one student who was in the hospital the last week of school, and so I gave her an incomplete, but I don't know how to set the class up in such a way that she can continue to work, but that the class is closed for everybody else. Any suggestions on that?
Yes, good question. I know John will be able to help you with that, and so we'll connect with John and help you with how to do that for your student, Bruce.
Okay.
Stu, Yes. This is Larry.
Oh, yes.
Perhaps I can help there. I had a student in the same situation a couple semesters ago. And what I did is I went into the class itself and, you can put them on your desktop and on your dashboard and take them off. So first thing I did is put it on my dashboard so I could get to it. Then I went into the settings and redid the dates for the class. And then I went into the assignments that I needed him to do. It was a person in this case that hadn't finished a couple assignments. And I set up the dates for that assignment. And then he went in just to Canvas as though he was taking the class and completed those 2 assignments. And then I got the grades, and then you go back to student services and fill out the paperwork to give him the grade. That worked out pretty well.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Larry.
When you do that, doesn't it open up the class to other students as well?
You could, yeah, it publishes it, but you can actually open up the assignment just for that one person. So even though everybody else could look at the class, they can't really do anything anymore because hopefully you've submitted your grades and attendance and everything. So most people aren't even looking at it at that point.
Well, that's true. That's true. But theoretically, they could, couldn't they?
Yeah, but there's nothing they can really do
Yeah.
because the assignments aren't, hopefully you've got assignment dates and the assignments aren't available to them if the dates are not there. And you only open up the assignment to the one person. So really they can't do anything in your class that'd be destructive.
Yeah, but I tried that. My experience was I had to open it up for the class to open it up for the one person.
If you have the same class running this semester, you can add that one student to one of your current classes and just assign them the few that they have to finish. And then you can remove them once they're done.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, we can look at this, you know, outside of this workshop too, specifically at your course, Bruce, and help you with that then.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Esmeralda, did you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I had a question because I just got notified that one of my students is part of the DSPS program and needs extra time for exams. So I was wondering, since everything's going to be online, how do we just set it up so that our quizzes and our tests allot them, you know, the extra time that they need?
Mm-hmm. So once you set up your exams or your quizzes, there's going to be an option for you to moderate your quiz. And when you do that, it's going to show you a list of your students. And then so, you know, depending on which student it is that needs the modified or additional time, you can go in there and say, let's say you give your students 30 minutes, but then the student needs an additional, you know, 30 minutes or something. So you can go in and add that additional time for just that specific student then. Yeah. And if you need help with that, just let us know too.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so
If I could add,
I have a question about the same topic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is Jody Steely. Hi, everyone. The DSPNS office has instructions. So we'll send those out and put them in the faculty support hub. Yeah, that's a little bit tricky. We want to make sure that everyone has step-by-step instructions. So
that'd be good. Thank you, Jody.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
May I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead, Leanne.
Okay, so I had the same question. Normally I would have an assignment due on, like if I had a Monday, Wednesday class, I would assign it on Monday and have it due on Wednesday. If I assigned it on Wednesday, have it due the following Monday for my regular class. But because I had to convert to online, I actually was giving them like everybody an extra day from what my normal expectations would be. So isn't that already accommodating or not?
Hi, this is Susan, actually. Susan Areola from the DSPS office. I'm the director. So it's kind of good that I've chimed in here. One thing that you have to realize that with accommodations, even though you're giving an accommodation for every student in your course, meaning I'm going to go ahead and extend my exam for 2 hours. So everybody has the equal opportunity. You have to remember that regardless of giving that extra day or that extra time, when a student gives you an accommodation that they have that additional time, you would then have to give them their additional time. So let's say it was 2 hours that you're going to give everyone, and then that student had an accommodation for the time and a half, which would be an hour and a half. You would then have to give them 3.5 hours to complete the exam. So you, regardless that you're giving everybody that additional time, you still have to give that student with that accommodation their additional time. Does that make sense?
Okay, so if they have a DSPNS form, which I have one right now, normally because of the online situation with COVID, I was accepting late and very rarely even penalizing for late. So if I'm accepting it late but not penalizing that DSPNS student for late, does that satisfy the accommodation?
Yeah, I would believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Because you're not penalizing for, you're accepting their work, giving them the same amount of credit like you would anybody else.
Okay,
So
great.
I don't see that a problem. I did also put in, thanks Jody for chiming in. I was looking for the link. I did put in a link for instructions how to make those changes in Canvas. And we do have multiple links. We also have a session this afternoon in regards to assessing your accommodation documents via AIM, which is an app that you have to download in your portal, and then to receive your accommodation letter from the student. So just chiming that out there.
Thank you so much, Susan, for clarifying for everybody. I know we are running short on time, so I just have a couple more slides that I need to go through. We'll definitely hang around afterwards. So if you do have any additional questions, feel free to either type it in the chat or hang around with us as well. Okay. Okay, so, as was shared yesterday at Convocation, we do have the following resources that you can share with your students so that they know that there is support for them and their online learning. We also, in the DE office, have, some resources for faculty members, including Growing with Canvas, which is a self-paced course, and then also provides an overview of all the different tools and features within Canvas. We have created a start of the semester quick guide, which is just a one-page document that goes over pretty much what I have mentioned today in this session. And so we'll make that available for you as well. And then lastly, not to steal Jody's thunder or anything like that, but we do have a faculty support hub, and we will be utilizing this as the central location where you'll find, teaching and learning resources, any upcoming workshops and other information to support you, as you, teach them as well. So just some things to keep in mind as you start the semester. Just be open and willing to learn and grow. This is definitely a unique time that we are living in, and we want to be able to support our students the best that we can. And so, like Dr. Goldsmith had said yesterday as well, too, just be flexible and patient with your students, but also with yourself. Take breaks, step away from Zoom. I know we get Zoom fatigue, zoomed out, but definitely step away, from all your devices and just enjoy the little things. Earlier in our group, in the session this morning, some people, went for walks and others started gardening, and others were doing do-it-yourself projects around the house. And so just take some time to enjoy all of the other little things as well. And then just remember, you are not alone. There is support here, and we will find a way to get through this. And so I've left my contact information as well as Jody's and John. We are the distance education team. And thank you so much for Carolyn also, who is part of our team, helping facilitate as a faculty member. I know Jody isn't here too, so I don't know if she has anything else that she may want to mention. If I missed anything, but if not, then thank you so much for attending, and we'll take some questions now.
Sue, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Larry.
I'm entertaining, my course is 100% online. So I've never really required to be there, but I'm thinking that it might be a good idea to have a Zoom session, or what I think, I like what you said, a student hour instead of office hours, on like Monday at 11 o'clock, like starting next week, in case there's any questions. Is there a place here today where I could go to one of the education sessions to learn about how to set up office hours?
Jody, you're nodding your head. Is like,
Yeah, yeah. So actually, Sue's doing.
Oh, okay. My
on
Zoom.
Zoom.
She's got one this afternoon.
I'll just volunteer her for that.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the one this afternoon.
Okay, what's it called?
Zoom tips for engagement.
Oh, good.
2:30
I'm in
to
that.
3:30.
I'm in that. Good. Thank you. That we'll learn that then. Okay. Thank you.
You got it.
I had a quick comment that I think to me has been really helpful, just for anybody's knowledge. A lot of times you get sent DSPNS requests, and you know, they want, you haven't opened up a test yet, but they want extra time for it, you know, as required by the directive. And so what I found is that in Canvas, they have a little note section. You can open it up. It's kind of buried, but you can find it. And so what I do is I open that up, and then I'll put like extra time in there as a notification to me. The student